Hi, I'm Kath Grant Spooky Peg, and this is Reignite, here to reignite your passion for music. So let's light that fuse. Welcome, one and all, to spooky season. I know we're a week from Halloween, but it's close enough for a Halloween special. If you're here live, then please join in the live chat. There's a lot of people going to pop up in there. If you're watching us on catch up, then just leave us a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to know. So let's get to it. Our guest today, she has sold over 55 million records worldwide. She'll probably tell me it's more than that. It's probably gone up in the last week. She's also a hugely talented actress, presenter, and author. But does she believe in ghosts? Has she ever seen one? We'll find out. We'll find out that and a lot more besides. Anyway, enough of the talking. Let's bring her on. Please welcome our guest today, the fabulous Suzi Quatro.
Hi.
Hi.
I like the intro, and we'll get into that later.
We'll get to that later, right?
We will, yeah.
Good morning to you. Having a good morning so far, Suzi.
Yeah, it's been good. I was very, very productive today. I went out to the gym like a good
Oh,
girl. Got all my bag packed ready for the studio, so I'm ready to go be creative as soon as I'm done here. Then I go there.
fabulous.
Yeah, yeah. If I'm not doing something, I'm not happy. I'm a real artiste.
You're a fellow Gemini, and we're very similar. I cannot sit still. I cannot not be doing. Drives husband crazy. It's always like
I
here, there, and
know.
everywhere. There's this to do. There's
And
that to do.
yeah, yeah, and I will say in our defense, some people say we're difficult, but my husband said it correct. He said you're complicated, and that I accept.
I like that. Hopefully, husband's listening right now. Oh, talking of your husband, happy anniversary for yesterday. I saw your post on
Yes,
Insta.
28
How
years
many
that we
years is
live,
that?
28 and in separate countries. I mean, give me a break. How does that work? Talk about safe sex. He's nowhere near me.
I know
So
what it is with my
maybe.
guest. Because my first ever guest that I had on this show was Toya. You know Toya?
I do.
And she is exactly the same. Her and Robert Fripp, for I don't know how long it is, probably nearer 40 years, have lived in separate houses. There is
I don't.
something in this.
There is, and I came from a 24/7 relationship with my ex husband, who I'm still very close with. Um, he was in my band, and like really, really 24/7. And when I met
Yeah.
Reiner, and he was based in Hamburg, and he's an only child, and his mother wasn't well. I had my two kids living in the home that they're familiar with. We ran two homes, and it stayed that way. I never thought I could get used to this. And now he was the one at the beginning kept saying, "Oh, this is fine. This is a modern marriage." And now me, I'm saying this is fine. He's saying, "No, no, no, no. We have to be together all the time." I'm going, "No, no, 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 no." So it all changed. It all changed.
And I was going to jump right at the beginning into you and your family and your early life, but I just wanted to bring one thing up because I've been following you on Insta, and I saw a post, was it the day before yesterday, that you've set up a production company, Butterfly?
Yes. Okay. Long
Tell
story short.
me.
Yeah. My son. I have to backtrack a little bit. My son came to me. He's been a band since he's been 14, and he came to me
Mhm.
about uh maybe 6 years ago, and he said, "I'd like to write with you," and he showed me a couple things, and I said to him at that point, "There's something there, but you're not quite ready yet." So then he
Mhm.
came to me in 2018, the end of 2018, 19. And he came in the front room. I remember he came over, came out there. He said, "Mom, I need to write with you now." And good. No, good. That means he's ready and he's frustrated and he's ready to fight. So he played me a few songs, just, the riffs. And I said, "Okay." I did. I said, "Okay, I can work with that. Leave that with me." We ended up going in the studio, making 3 demos, having fun.
Mhm.
He's sitting there. I'm sitting here, playing my bass, singing along. He's playing the guitar. We've never written together before. We've never worked together before. and we're putting down one of the tracks, and I always remember this moment. And he stopped playing, and I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "Oh my God." I said, "What?" He said, "All of a sudden, I'm in the studio with Suzi Quatro." And it's a
Really?
moment. Yeah, you get it. It was a moment. And I looked at him. I looked at him straight in the eye, and I went, and he went, "Okay, that's." So that was his step up to bat and be counted moment. And then about
Yeah.
that, yeah, after like the third or fourth demo, I turned to the engineer and I turned to Rich and I said to both of them, "We're making an album." And they said, "We are." And that was No Control. And at that point, cut it short now. I said, "Okay, now that we know this is serious and this team is working, Richard, now it's organic. From this moment on, whatever we do, I don't want to try to write any kind of song. I don't want to push in any direction. I want whatever comes." So No Control had that element in it. The getting your feet wet, two new people writing together. And then when we got to The Devil in Me, which is my current album, which just I've never read such reviews in my entire 58 years in the business. Just humblingly wonderful. Then Richard got his confidence on No Control, and he put his blinders on. And he kept saying to me, "Mom,
Yeah.
trust me, trust me." He said, "I want this album to be as groundbreaking as your first album." And that was the level we put it. And most of the critics said this is my best work. So we accomplished what we tried to do. And now we're doing other artists. There's another artist I'm working with. He's producing other people. He's been asked to produce, and we're writing for my next one. We're not quite sure the direction of that yet. We're finding it. It's going to be a hard one, this one, because we've had No Control, which is getting your feet wet. We've had the wonderful The Devil in Me. And now what's next? Yeah, it'll come. Whatever it is, it'll come.
It will. It will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're hoping, by the wonders of technology, if they don't let us down, because we had a few technical issues at the start, we are hoping that we're going to be playing 2 tracks during the course of this, because
Okay,
we
great.
have them queued up and ready to go. So please God, but they are also in the show description. So if there's any problems happening here, which they won't be, there definitely won't be, but they are in the show description. You can click the links and go to them, but after the show, not while we're talking, folks.
Okay.
But it's also, I saw, so I will jump into where I wanted to start. You know how the Gemini mind goes.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. You know, I get so mad when people can't follow me. Why don't you keep up? You know, I'm over here already. Go ahead.
I had a script planned, but it's gonna go off in all directions, isn't it? I was sitting watching something last night, and I saw Carmine Apice pop up, who said that he was working with you. Is that right too?
Yeah, we did a radio. We got along like, of course, like a house on fire, bass and drums. Come on. So then it kind of progressed from there. We had a few emails back and forth. I was going to put vocals to one of his tracks, and I said, "Let's write from scratch." He said, "Cool." And then he said, "I'd love to play on your next product." I said, "Well, we'll send you some stuff." I mean, you know, he's not a good enough drummer, is he? One of the best. One of the best. And
For sure.
we were friends. We were friends from the start, because that was my opening statement to him. We are the engine that drives the band. Everything else is just colors. And he said, "It's true."
Yeah.
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 So we were on the
very
same
true.
page.
You don't have,
We were
yeah,
the
you
same
don't
page.
have that bass drum thing going on. Forget it, for sure.
You got
for sure.
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to get you on full screen now. I'm going to go away, because the story, I'd love to hear the full story of this little girl in front of the TV watching Elvis, and then ending up in 1971 in the UK. So I think it's best to just hand it over to you to tell us the story,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, that's, you know, we all have pivotal moments in our life that you remember for your whole life. A series of them. My first one was at 5.5. And I'm not embellishing this. This is exactly what happened. 5.5 years old. We're a family of 5 kids. And we all stopped at 8 o'clock in the evening to watch the Ed Sullivan Show on Sunday. This was non-negotiable. The family watched this variety show. So we're sitting there, and always at the end of Ed Sullivan's show, he would say, "And now something for the youngsters." And he would bring on, something for the youngsters, like a pop singer or whatever. And Elvis came out. So it's the first time I saw him, 5.5. My eldest sister 9 years older, so she was 14. So exactly the right age. Screaming at the TV. I'm looking at her. I remember looking at her thinking, I'm only 5.5. What are you doing? You know, why are you screaming? And then I looked at the TV, and this is what I remember for the rest of my life. I got drawn in like as if it was a magnet, pulling me in. I went in, and a little light bulb went up on top of my head. And I said to myself, I'm going to do that. And I did.
And you did.
And the funniest thing about that is it never even occurred to me that he was a guy and I was a girl, which shows you my character. I don't do gender, really. I never have done. And so I didn't even think of that. But, it's a long story. There are something like 9 real life Elvis epiphanies. So from that moment on, he's been on my shoulder. And things you can't write, things you cannot invent. Do you want me to tell them to you?
Please, yeah. I'm a huge Elvis fan, so yeah, please do.
Okay, I'll try to make them short. So that was the first one.
There we go. We have a viewer question come up as well. What does she think of Elvis? There we go. We're about to find out.
What do I think of Elvis?
We love him.
He's just, God, you see, I'm lost for words. He had a spirituality about him, first of all. That's what I saw in him. Good man, lost. He was lost. He was lost in his fame. I even read one quote where he said, I hope one day I know why God chose me to be Elvis. He must have had a reason. That kind of says it all. One of the best performers ever, if not the best. And God, we shared so many things. I have The Prophet on the side of my bed by Khalil Gibran. And he did too, and I didn't know this. I one time said in an interview that every audience is a different animal, and you never take it for granted that just because you were good last night, you're going to be good tonight. Different animal. Elvis said exactly the same thing. He needed the audience. He needed his fans. I need my fans. There's a real connection. Okay, so the epiphanies. He's just the best. And on top of all that, look how he looks,
Well, yeah.
I mean, and look, notice I said that last. I said that last.
Yeah.
So real quick, I was 18 in my band for 4 years, and we were at a hotel, I can't remember where, and his comeback special came on TV. So I watched it, and then I decided at that point, again, real effect on me. I thought, right, leather. I've got to wear leather. So the next day I went out and bought my first leather jacket. So that's epiphany number 2. Making my first album after I've had my first hit. We're in there making the album. We cover All Shook Up. Okay. Now that single got released in America in 1974 from the album. And I was there for the first time touring with hits under my belt with the English band back in my home country. And I was in my hotel room in Memphis, and the phone rang. And there was a voice that said, hello, this is Elvis Presley's people. And then click, and Elvis came on. I just nearly died. And, he did, hello, he said, this is Elvis Presley. Like I didn't know it was him. He said, I've just heard your version of All Shook Up, and I think it's the best since my own. And I would like you to come to Graceland while you're in town. I said to him, I'm very busy right now. Don't go there because and it wasn't that I know it wasn't that I was scared. It's that I wasn't quite ready. I thought, okay, let's get a few more a few more hits under my belt. I just wanted to be more ready. Anyway, I didn't go. So that was 74. Then 1977, I'm in Japan. And by the way, it's tradition I cover an Elvis song on every album. I'm in Japan. They call me. My publicist, he says, can you come fly to Los Angeles and audition for Happy Days? So I said, okay, what is it? I didn't know the show. He told me about the show. I said, okay. I wanted to get into acting anyway. So I went there. did the audition, met the fans, met the director, read the script, da 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 da. They said, okay, go back to your hotel and we will discuss you and then we'll call you. So I got back to the hotel. I switched on the TV in the background, and I'm sitting there waiting. I just wait for that phone to stop. Doesn't matter. It goes to the machine. So I'm sitting there waiting for the phone call with the TV on in the background. Phone call comes. I pick up the phone, and they said, "Hi, this is the Happy Days people. We don't just want you for the double episode, which is the first one I did. We want you for 15 episodes over 3 years." So just before I could go, yes, the TV said, "Newsflash, the king is dead."
Oh, wow.
So I'm on the phone like this, happy, and then I went, real strange, the timing of that. Then I got back about 2.5 months later to film my first episodes, and the director brings up this guy, and he says to me, "Suzi, this is Nudie." I said, "Hi," shook hands. He said, "He's going to be making all your costumes for the show." That was Elvis's personal tailor. How
Wow.
does that happen? Okay, then finally, we're getting sort of to the end. I wrote a tribute song to Elvis. You can Google it. Anybody can Google it. It's become a cult hit. It's a great song, I have to say, inspired by Elvis, and it's called "Singing with Angels." And as we were recording it, it occurred to us that it was off the Back to the Drive album. It was really a special song. So I got in touch with James Burton, who played with Elvis many, many years, and the Jordanaires, who I know Ray Walker. And I called them and I said, I got this tribute song. And they both kind of went, oh, they said, "Suzi, we're inundated since he passed on. But tell you what, send us the song." So I sent them the song. Within a week after they got it, they listened, they called me back, and they said, "Book the studio." Ray said, "This is the best tribute Elvis song I've ever heard in my life." So we went to Nashville. We used Elvis's studio, and James Burton played on it, and the Jordanaires sang on it, and even Gordon Stoker, who's now passed away, he got out of his hospital bed to come and sing on that track. Oh, I just got a chill when I said that. Then the last bit of the story, we were doing some recording somewhere, and James was there. Oh, it was while we were doing, that's it, we were doing Singing with Angels in Nashville. We took a little break from the recording, and I was outside with James Burton, and I was giving him my headphones just to listen to a little bit of the album I was making. And he's listening, and he takes the headphones off, and he goes, "Suzi?" I said, "What?" He said, I have to, I have to tell you something. He said, "You got what Elvis had." I did that. And I went, "What?" I didn't care if he was lying. He said it. He said, I said, "What? What?" And he said, "Well, I can only explain it this way, that whatever you do, it's you." And I accepted that compliment. But wow. So that's how he described Elvis. That whatever Elvis did was Elvis. And he gave me that same compliment. So I will take that to my grave. Thank you very much.
That is an incredible. I mean, what an honor to be with the
Mm.
Jordanaires in that studio. I mean, that must have felt like I can't even imagine. I
It was
cannot
just,
imagine.
it's the whole life coming, full circle. And he really has been on my shoulder. There's a great video for that on YouTube. "Singing with Angels,"
Oh yeah.
everybody have a look. Yeah. And Elvis
Oh, okay.
impersonators,
Well, hunt that down.
Elvis impersonators do it, and it's become a very popular funeral song, "Singing with Angels," naturally.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Because we're always seeing Elvises. Well, we never know what the plural is, if it's Elvises or Elvi, because we go to Las Vegas a lot, and on every street corner, even now, I mean, that is, you got to say the power of that guy after all these years. He is still the one that people dress up as on the Las
Sure.
Vegas Strip, that people want to have their photo taken, and there are
Sure.
impersonators all over
Yeah.
Vegas. And how
Yeah.
many years has it been now since he passed away? I mean, the impact
Uh,
that man had.
that was,
I,
oh yeah, I know. But it just continues because he was special. He was special.
I mean,
I was very good friends with a lot of the people that are gone now. Joe Esposito. Um, oh God, what's his name now? The name's gone. But I was part of the inner circle once he had gone. We all met up at different things, and we all went like that, you know. Oh,
Did you
bless
ever
him.
get to actually see him perform live?
No. And I think I wasn't supposed to meet him, and I wasn't supposed to see him live because I don't think I would have written Singing with Angels, which is a very spiritual song. And I think if I'd met him, I wouldn't have had that feeling for him, that person I didn't
Mm,
meet. You know, so I think that was my
yeah.
path. And his girlfriend, his last girlfriend he had, Thompson, what was her name? Uh, can't remember her first name.
Oh,
And she
no.
said that, yeah, she told her brother to tell me, and he did. I did a big Elvis competition where I had to judge the Elvis impersonators in somewhere here in England, and all the Memphis Mafia people came. Sonny West, he was the other one. Um, I forgot what I was going. What was I going to say? Now I lost my train of thought. It's gone. Can't remember what I was going to say.
Don't worry.
I was thinking. I
Don't
was
worry.
thinking about all
If
the
it comes
people.
back to you, yeah. If I know, I know. If it comes back to you, just throw it in. We're going off
I will.
script. We're going
Yeah,
wherever we're
yeah.
going right now.
Okay.
With that in mind, I read something
Oh, I got
else.
it. I got
Okay.
it.
Go on,
It
tell
was
me.
it,
Tell me.
it
Tell me.
it was his last girlfriend, Linda Thompson, and she said for her brother to tell me, because he was going to be meeting me, that in the 70s, this would have been right around when he called me. They used to go to Rodney Bingenheimer's English Disco in L.A. up in the VIP room, so private. And Rodney Bingenheimer was a huge Suzi Quatro fan, and my posters were everywhere, and my music was playing nonstop. So she said that he used to sit and look at my poster, but not in a sexual way, in an interesting way. She said he would look and go, like that.
Oh, how
Wow.
fabulous is
Yeah,
that?
it is. It is. So I
Wow.
was not supposed to meet him.
No, no, absolutely not. No.
Better
Yeah,
at a
that's what I was going to
distance.
ask
Yeah.
you. Yeah, yeah. I was going to ask you. I read when I was going through your biography that at some point in your early years, you were a go-go dancer on a pop show. Is that true?
There, there was a not a go-go dancer as such. I can dance so. It was a show that was produced in Detroit called Club 1270, and it was every Saturday. And like American Bandstand, they would have certain regular kids dancing in the audience in front of the bands. So I became one of those. You're supposed to be 16. I lied, and I danced every week on there. And I saw all my favorite Motown acts here in front of me. So the good thing was I would be able to learn the dance routines and show everybody at the school dances before they could learn them. So I was really cool. I can still do all the Temptations routines. I'll tell you a funny story. Keep reminding me of funny stories. I did a big gig, a lot of people on the show, and the Temptations were on that show with Dennis Edwards singing lead. And
Yeah,
I just couldn't stand it. I went up behind the PA system, stood behind the monitor desk, right? And did
yeah.
every and all the steps were the same. I was doing every dance, just enjoying myself. And about halfway through the show, I turned around to get a drink of water. I'm hidden behind the stack and behind the monitor, and there's a guy with a camera. I was on the screens the whole time. Oh my God. I went,
And
what?
I bet
I said,
everyone loved it.
how embarrassing. Thank God I could
So is that
dance. Yeah.
where you picked up your early shaking your butt moves then?
Yeah, oh, yeah. I always did that. I always try to back into a room when I can.
I think you should. Have you ever won Brewer of the Year? You must have done.
Yeah, sure. In fact,
Oh, I thought you would have done.
they were thinking about giving it to me 2 times.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I've always had a nice backside. And in fact, when I was about 11 or 12, and my elder sister by 9 years, she had lots of boys over. We were up by the pool. And I overheard one of her boyfriends, who would have been, I don't know, 18 or something. I heard him say to my big sister, I shouldn't have heard it, but I did, boy, your little sister's going to have a great ass when she grows up. And I went up into the bedroom, bent down in front of the mirror with my head between my legs, and had a look to see what they're talking about. I couldn't figure it out. I'm going, why? Why is that a good one? But it ended up being true. Funny
And
as
to
heck.
this day, it still is.
That's my
Oh, wow.
that is my famous quote, Kath. I said it when I was about 35. Somebody asked me the question, and I gave the quote, and it's followed me around. I'm now 71. This quote has followed me. Somebody at 35, a critic, said, when are you going to stop? When are you going to retire? Stupid question. And I said, when I go on stage, turn my back on the audience and shake my ass, and there's silence, then I stop.
Never gonna happen.
Never gonna happen. even if I have to pay somebody to go out there with a screen card, you know.
I'm there.
No.
So backtracking again, as we are jumping all over the place, a pair of Geminis. I'm sorry, guys, it's never going to go the way it's supposed to go.
No.
When you first came over here, obviously you were in bands with your sisters, and you came over here with Mickey in the early 70s. How different was it for you? I mean, I know it kind of been a great time, and obviously it was just you that came over, and that was difficult. But culture change wise, coming over to the UK in the early 70s, what was that like?
It was very different. Everything is small. That was the first thing I noticed. I mean, you had milk bottles that big, you know, the tiny little milk bottles, tiny cars, tiny roads. I mean, I was born and raised in America. Everything is much bigger there. It just is. So I had to get used to the smallness, but I liked it. Your sense of humor is totally different than American sense of humor. Yeah, you didn't really have, when I arrived in 71, there was not really rock and roll music on the radio. You had maybe one show that played it on TV. A totally different existence to what I was used to. But I'd come over here to do something, and I'd set my mind that that's what I was going to do. I got acclimatized after a while. It wasn't easy, though. You know, it was a culture shock. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I know the first time I ever went to the States, back when I was about 20, and I asked for a sandwich somewhere. And you know how it is in the UK, if you get a sandwich, it's like 2 pieces of white bread with 1 piece of cheese. And you go to America, it's like, and you want fries, and do you want coleslaw? It's like, no, I just wanted a sandwich.
I know.
So
I ordered a in Oxford Street, this was. I can't remember the name of the restaurant. I know where it is. I ordered a cheese sandwich. A cheese salad. In England, cheese salad. You know what they brought me? On a plate, 3 or 4 slices of lettuce with 2 or 3 slices of tomato and a piece of cheese in a plastic cover. I said, that's not a cheese salad. And I didn't have any money. And I thought, that's what I get for my money? I said, oh, but you're better now. You got better now. And you drink coffee now, thank God.
Oh yes. Do you know, you just reminded me, I know you said you like the British sense of humor. Did you ever used to watch Fawlty Towers, and they had the episode with the Waldorf salad?
Yes, fantastic.
And he didn't have any Waldorf.
No, didn't have any. That's brilliant. That's oh my God, you keep reminding me of funny stories, because I'm American in England. I'm always going to be American in England. I was going out it was on a Saturday, and I noticed a bakery was open. And don't forget, I've got a very recognizable face, so no matter what I do, everybody knows when it's me there. And so you're aware of it, but I don't hide. So I went to this bakery, and everybody's going, it's Suzi Quatro, it's Suzi Quatro. So you're a little bit embarrassed anyway. So it finally comes to my turn, and I said to the lady, I'd like 12 open bread cakes, please. And she went, pardon me? I said I'd like, and I thought, why is she doing this? Pretending like she can't understand my accent. I said I'd like 12 open bread cakes, please. And she looked at me again, and I went, I said, that sign outside, does that mean open bread cake? She said, yeah. And I looked at all these people looking at me, and I just went, bye. But everybody says, why 12? I don't know. It sounded... 12 open bread cakes.
Oh dear.
How American can you be? Honest to God.
See, we're the same, but there are differences.
It's Winston Churchill said, 2 nations divided by a common language, which is exactly correct.
It is. Because before I started this podcast, I used to produce my friend's podcast, and the number of times I would come out with expressions, and he had no idea. We actually gave him a list
I know it
English
now.
to American.
Yeah, I know it now because I've been here since 71. So I in fact, I have a lot of expressions myself, but I'm always going to be the American in England. You know.
I was going to ask you that. What English expressions have you picked up that you tend to use? Do you have any?
Bollocks.
Oh, very good. Well done.
Wanker.
Oh, yeah.
And I, when I was first with my ex-husband, we were just together, and I remember sitting with him. He was a little shit to do this, and I said, "What does this mean?" I said, "What does wanker mean?" He said, "Oh, it just means a jerk." And I said, "Oh, I can get that." And I said, "What's bollocks?" He said, "Oh, it's just an ing," and it just all these words he gave me, and I met his dad for the first time, and his
Where is this
and
going?
and I know, and his dad said, "How was your gig?" I said, "Poxy," and he looked at me. He said, "Oh, why?" I said, "Well, the roadie's a wanker." And he's looking at me. I'm going on and using these words that I didn't know were rude words. And we went to bed that night, and Lenny said to me, "I'm going to not tell you what you said." I went, "Oh, how was the gig?
Oh,
How was the gig? Poxy. Oh, yeah, the roadie was a wanker. Meeting his parents for the first time. Great. God."
no. Oh my God. What a swine. Oh, jeez. And you're still friends to this day, you said?
Yeah, we are still very close, actually, which is good. When you love somebody for 20 years and you have 2 kids with them and a granddaughter, you should never lose that feeling. I say that to
No,
anybody out there,
absolutely.
you know? Otherwise,
Absolutely right.
you
Yeah.
wasted 20 years of your life, if you think about it that way,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So talking about life, the universe and everything, lockdown, which is obviously where the album came from with your son. But during lockdown, because obviously people dealt with it different ways, some people had problems, obviously, and they continue to have problems because of it. What did you do? Did you have, for me, I set myself like a daily routine that this time I do this time I do that, because otherwise it just sort of descended into chaos. So
Yeah.
did you have a daily routine, and did you have like a fitness regime that you followed as well?
I had a routine because I can't live life without a routine. My entire lifestyle, my job is run on a time scale. You know what time you're leaving for the airport. You know what time the airplane is. You know how long the airplane ride is. You know how long it is to the hotel. You know what time sound check is. You know what time you're on stage. You know what time you're off stage. You know what time you have to get up the next morning. Every single thing I've done my whole life, working life, has been a time. So unless I have a schedule in front of me, I'm actually lost. So I had to make my schedule, like you just said.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
had a routine. I had a routine. I get up, I open up the house, which is it's a big house, 9 bedrooms, 3.5 acres, 15th
Wow.
century 15th century Elizabethan manor house, complete with ghosts. I open up the house,
Aha.
then I do my Instagram. Well, the first I make my vitamin drink, my fresh juice drink, and my first cup of coffee. Go to the computer, my daily Instagram, which is now a book called Through My Thoughts. It's an illustrated coffee book, the third in the series, which I wrote and released during lockdown. I wrote 2 books and released during lockdown. My lyric book and that one, Coffee Table. And the first one's a poetry book. I do that first, then I go on my Facebook pages, and then I work out what I'm going to work on. It's either going to be songs that we were writing, or it's going to be my next novel that I'm working on now, or it's going to be rehearsing in the front room because I wasn't doing any gigs. I always go to the gym, it's in the garage, so I do that. I try to take a walk per day. But it's like I made jokes on Facebook. I said, if I haven't got my little rolling bag in my hand and the tour book in my left hand, who am I? Who am I?
Mm.
I
Mm.
was lost. If my marriage exists on travel and distance, my gigs
Yeah.
exist on travel, distance, and people. So my life blew up. So I had to keep, and I wrote the album. I rewrote The Devil in Me during lockdown. I released it during lockdown. But I've now got my second poetry book on the go. I've been so creative. Been so creative.
Because
I
the
can't,
first one was Through My Eyes was the first one, yeah?
yeah, and I can't stop writing. It's usually at about midnight. I just go, and it just has to come. Has to come. I've never
Yeah.
been so prolific. I'm prolific anyway, but never quite so much as right now. I seem to be delving down. I'm listening to the cosmos all the time. It's
Yeah.
just coming in. Yep. Yep.
Do you keep a book like me? I always have an open book and a pen by the bed, because so many times I wake up in the night and think of something. It's like, if I don't grab that pen and write it down now, I'm going to forget it. So I'm guessing it's probably something that you do.
I do. I actually go to bed with my laptop, so I will actually wake up and send myself a message. Or if I have my mobile phone, I'll leave myself a message. I'm always jotting down. I'm one of those people that I talk poetically anyway, and people are always saying, "What did you say?" and jotting it down and then reminding me of. During interviews, I say, "Oh God, remind me of that. That's a song," you know. Yeah, I just wrote another one. Just before I got on with you, I just wrote another one called Patterns.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. We will look forward to hearing that. So we're talking about songs. So we are now going to attempt what we hope is going to play Sold My Soul. So if everyone bears with us for 2 minutes, I think me and Suzi are going to disappear, and we're going to cue in Sold My Soul, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed that this is going to work. So
what do you say when you can't pretend? How do you sway when you cannot bend? I sold my soul today. Behind enemy lines, been disconnected too many times. Love is blind, but I won't fool myself. I can't lose myself to your alibis and lies. What do you say when you can't pretend? How do you sway when you cannot bend? I stole my soul today. Spare me this closing scene. I've been rejected. I feel unclean, so unkind. As your truth unfolds, as you're standing cold, you're the picture of I've seen. What do you say when you can't pretend? How do you sway when you cannot bend? What do you say when you can't pretend? How do you sway when you cannot bend? I saw myself sweetheart in harmony, so unexpected. Then we were three, not inclined. Don't you realize I won't compromise? I can see through your disguise. What do you say when you can't pretend? How do you sway when you cannot bend? What do you say when you can't pretend? How do you sway when you cannot bend? I sold my soul today.
Now I have to tell you about that song.
fabulous, fabulous. Please do.
I have to tell you because the director actually called me and he said, "Tell me what this song's about." He was confused. It's an unusual video. It's an unusual song. It's about a girl who has strict moral code, falls in love with a guy who doesn't have a strict moral code, and he even tries to introduce a third person into the relationship. Now, she holds on to her morals. She doesn't give in, but she sells her soul because she stays in the relationship. Not because she gave in to his demands, but because she stayed.
Right, I'm with you.
And I say, if you're going to sell your soul, get a good price.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's an incredible track. So I'm assuming your parts were filmed in your house. That's your piano
Yes.
in your house.
Yeah, we did it
So
here.
where was the girl?
She was it was COVID time, so everything had to be done separately. So we did my bits here. We used my garage for all the videos from The Devil and Me, and each musician went in separate. And this was
Uh-huh.
more of an acting video than the other ones, you know. And we said that for sure. It would be an acting one. So that's why I'm sitting there and just
Yeah.
saying the lines, not so much of me playing, you know.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting some great comments coming up on there. Thank you, Joe and
Very
Kanak and
polite.
everybody
He
else,
used,
and
yeah,
Steve
he
and
very
Naomi.
polite. He said friggin', very polite.
Come on, you liars.
But we
Christ,
all
Joe,
know what
you
you meant.
can
Yeah.
say what you want. This is Reignite. Say what you like. No, that is an absolutely incredibly beautiful track. I love it to pieces. And I have to let you know also, somebody who's in the chat who I just saw there, Richard Pierce, he's my neighbour. When I told him you were coming on, he said, "Oh, her album, it was so wonderful, it made me cry." So I've outed you now, Richard. I've told Suzi.
I'll tell you which I know
made
which
him
song.
cry.
It's I Need You Home for Christmas, that My Heart and Soul. It's I cry every time I see it. Because it's
I was so
what
surprised.
it's what it
Christmas
is.
song from you though.
Yeah,
I
what it's
really was surprised to see a Christmas one.
beautiful piece of music. Beautiful piece of music.
Gorgeous. But anyway, well done on making my neighbour cry with joy. Thank you for that.
If I can touch
So
if
moving on.
if I touch people, that's my cycle complete.
I can tell you I'll tell you another way if you don't mind, that you could touch somebody. Very, very important. I have an Auntie Jackie.
That's
And
the
she
one.
was, there he is. There's Richard. She got
That's
you,
the
Richard.
one. I know it.
She
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah.
So when I told my Auntie Jackie that you were coming on this show, she was so happy because she thinks you're absolutely fabulous. And it is her birthday next Saturday. So would you very, very kindly wish my Auntie Jackie a happy birthday?
What's her name?
Auntie Jackie.
Jackie?
Jackie, yeah.
Okay. Hello, Auntie Jackie. Are you sitting comfortably? Happy birthday. From me to you.
Thank you so much.
You're
She's
welcome.
a legend. It's her next year, unless you won't mind me saying, next year's her 80th birthday, and the family were asking her,
Fantastic.
what do you want? Do you want to go for afternoon tea? Do you want to do this? And she went, no, I tell you what I want to do. I want to do a tandem sky jump for charity. So that's what she's doing for her 80th
Fantastic. Exactly.
Well done, her.
Exactly. I'm 71. I'm
Screw
proud
age.
of it. I say it on
Yeah.
stage how old I am, and my gas tank is still completely full. I got to tell you, I'm not anywhere near slowing down yet.
No. But is that a Detroit thing? Because obviously somebody I'm hugely fond of is Alice Cooper, and you guys are both Detroit. Obviously he brought out his album last year, Detroit Stories. What is it? What is it musically about Detroit?
We talk
Explain
about
to
it a
me.
lot. All of us Detroit musos, when we get together, this is a subject of conversation. There's a, I can only describe it. All the acts from Detroit, black or white, doesn't matter. Motown, the rock and roll, doesn't matter. So there's an edge in our music. There's a real edge. There's an electric. There's a desperation, and there is an energy, and it's all Detroit. And like Alice said on my documentary, you can take the girl out of Detroit. You can't take Detroit out of the girl. So I'm always going to be, I have the Detroit attitude to life, yeah. Take no prisoners, basically. Take no prisoners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right. Absolutely
Yeah.
right. So you went, obviously, there's other strings to your bow that I need to jump into because I'm conscious of time and I'm thinking, I'm going to run out of time. So theatre, once outside of music, theatre,
I'm okay.
we had Annie get you going.
Yep.
Are you
okay.
good?
I have to go in 15 minutes. Is that okay?
Okay, we'll rush through. So we've got
Or do you
theatre,
need-
we've
do
got
you
Annie
need
get
more?
you going.
Okay. Annie,
If
get
you
your
have
gun.
more,
Annie, get your gun. Whoa. Fantastic. Fantastic. What
Yeah.
an opportunity to play Annie, Get Your Gun in the West End. Are you kidding me? I took to it like a duck to water. Loved it. I will do more musicals. I wrote a musical about Tallulah Bankhead that I wrote the music and starred as
Yeah.
Tallulah. Done quite a bit of different acting shows. I was on radio, BBC Radio 2 for 15 years. I finally left them because they wouldn't play my music because I was a disc jockey.
really?
Four albums in, they say, oh, I don't think that's for Radio 2. Not 4 albums. 1 album maybe, not 4 yet. So I finally said I'm going to walk away. I'm still very good friends with the boss and all that, but he knows my reasons. Anyway, what else did I do? Oh yeah, I'm on my
But you
5th book
did-
now.
Yeah, you did on Radio 2. You were doing like documentaries, weren't you, about various people? Was it like you've covered people like Patsy Cline? You did Elvis as well.
I did. I had 15 years at the station. First, I had Rockin' with Susie Q. Then I had Wake Up Little Susie. Then I had a couple years of documentaries. I did Elvis, and I went to Graceland and everything. And then I had for a couple years my own invention called Quatro, which was brilliant. You know what we forgot to say? Yes, I have to say it now because it reminded me. We now have a production company called Butterfly Productions Studio 84, and it's me and my son. So
Yes, I saw that on your Insta story the
yeah,
other day.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to do music for other people too because I just can't stop writing. So I might as well share it out. I can't do them all myself.
Please do. Please keep sharing it out. We need you to keep sharing it out. Okay, I'm going to
Absolutely.
jump forward. I'm going to leap off script and jump forward so that we don't run
Okay.
out of time because it's a very, very important subject because we are coming up to Halloween and I know that you have stories for us. So first question would be, if you were to dress up as a Halloween costume, what would it be? But more importantly, do you, I think we know the answer, do you believe in ghosts and have you ever
What
seen one?
1 million%? 1 million%. This house is finished in 1590. Okay, finished in 1590. And you're never alone here. It doesn't scare me. I was drawn here. I'm supposed to be here. I've been here since 1980. This is my house. I'm taking care of it. Oh God, somebody's at the door. Sorry, 1 second. I
Go,
have to get it.
go,
One
go, go.
sec.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's a ghost at the door and she's going to go and let it in, and we're actually going to have a live Halloween ghost coming on the show. You never know your luck.
That would be really good.
Wow, look at those gold records on the wall. Gold, is that platinum as well? Geez, we're getting a good look at those. We'll have to ask her about those when she comes back with her ghost.
Sorry about that. Okay, so I go right back to where I was. So, yeah,
okay,
so
that's okay. We were
I have-
admiring your discs on the wall behind you.
okay. I tell the story of this house when people are here. There's, I'll make it short. We always noticed, even before we had kids, feelings. You feel things. I'm real sensitive. My antenna is very sharp. And we would compare notes. Did you hear that? Did you see that? Did you hear that? Then, when my daughter was born, if we were in the kitchen and you were holding her, she would look up at the wall and go like this. And we all noticed it. Anyway, long story short, whenever we used to hear any noises or anything, I jokingly would say, "Oh, that's Richard the ghost." I just named him Richard. I don't know why. I said, "That's Richard." Then I went to what happened after that? Just a minute. Yes. So this went on for years and years and years, and we named the ghost Richard. And one time, some friends of mine, there's one old part of the house, and that's where most of the activity is because it's the oldest part. Got built first and then added on, added on. So you can feel more activity in certain parts of the room. It doesn't scare me. It's just energies that have been here before. And one time my friend was sleeping in the bedroom where we actually call it the ghost room. And she got woken up with a face. And that made me angry. So I went to the local church and I said, "Don't think I'm crazy." He said, "I don't, Susie. I live here at this churchyard. I don't think you're crazy." I said, "Okay." And I told him, I said, I know that there's energies in the house, which I accept. I haven't got a problem. But this face appeared to my friend, and then that's a step too far. I don't like it. And I said, I said, I jokingly call him Richard, whoever he is. And I have the strangest feeling that he's doing this because he wants to be remembered. And the priest went, I went, "What?" He said, "Come with me." So I walked with him into the church, went down the middle aisle. I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking. Walked down the middle aisle. Yeah, I know. Because what can I feel that? Walked down the middle aisle. And the last, they lay stones of prominent people in the church, in the aisle. You have like so and so and so and so. So the last stone before the altar, it says, and I can't say the name of my house because it gives it away on public, but it says, "Here lies Richard Sorrell of my name of my house where he lived." I had no idea. "The last in his line." Now, I got goosebumps
Holy,
all over.
I
I
am.
did. How could I know
Whoa.
this? I didn't know this, but my instinct was correct. First of all, calling him Richard and saying he wanted to be remembered. So then when I came back, I kind of like mentally, I'd said, "You're remembered. Now stay out of my friend's face, you're remembered." So it's calmed down a little bit, but there are many times in this house when you just go, and you do. It's not, it's all friendly,
Oh,
and I only can write in that end of the house where the activity is. That's where I do my creations. So yes, I believe
really?
1,000,000%. And in fact, make it real short
Unreal.
now. When I was pregnant with my first, and you get to the end of the pregnancy and you get very uncomfortable. You can't wait for the baby to be born. So my ex-husband and my present husband, they both snore. So this is my ex-husband. I woke him up. I said, I'm uncomfortable. Can you please go sleep in the next room? He said, sure. So and he went. 5 minutes later, came back. What's the matter? He said, I'm not sleeping in there. I went, why? He said, I'm just not. So I got up and I went in there and I laid down, and it was like I wasn't alone. Nothing happened. I just knew I wasn't alone. Switched the light on. Nothing. I'm pregnant and getting angrier by the second. Laid down again. I'm not alone. Switch it on. Nothing. Finally, I jumped up, and I have to swear. Is it okay if I swear?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. I jumped up because I remembered. I'm big pregnant. I said, right. I said, you can fuck off. I said, I'm pregnant. I'm uncomfortable, and I'm sleeping here. Do your worst. And I laid down, and I slept like a baby. I can see Richard going back to his other ghost friends and saying, did you hear what she said to me? and then just to round it off, when I got together with my husband now, and he was sleeping over, and I sent him in that room to sleep. And within 5 minutes, he came back and he said, I'm not sleeping in there. And yet other people are fine. I don't tell people that if they're going to sleep there, but some will come down and say, oh, I didn't get a good night's sleep, and others, no problem. So it's, if you're sensitive to it, you're going to feel it. And if you're not, you're fine. Some people just, it's not even on their radar,
Yeah. Wow, that is incredible. And going back,
I got visited by a ghost just after my daughter was born.
I got visited by a ghost. Did you, Naomi? Oh, you'll have to tell me about that, Naomi.
Fantastic.
That's Naomi. She took over as producer for me on the Pink Sock podcast, which if you guys haven't seen Pink Sock podcast with Mike Usnick, please go watch. There you go.
It does. Yeah, I mean, why shouldn't you believe in it? There's energies everywhere. Energies
we're
everywhere,
all just bundles of energy, aren't we? That's what we are.
Absolutely. And I'm going to leave mine here when I go. This is my legacy.
Oh yeah.
I've already put in my will I'm going to be cremated, and a plaque and my ashes are going to go out by a tree out there that died that I had sculptured into 4 bass guitars coming out.
Did you really?
Huge bass guitars by a wood sculpt. Fantastic. So my little plaque is going there with my ashes. I put that in my will.
Have you ever put a picture of that on your Insta? I'd love to see that.
Have I ever? Oh yeah, I can make a picture of it. Yeah.
Oh, put that
I haven't put it on the net yet. I should. It's beautiful because we have that little studio out there now that I built. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So sticking with this theme for the Halloween spooky season, there are 2 other things. Mrs. Beasley, and the time that you had your birthday and you went back to your family home and looked up at the windows. Am I correct in the photo?
My birthday back to the do you mean when I went down? Which one is this? I know the Mrs. Beasley one. What's the birthday one?
Yeah, there was a photograph that was taken with your old family home in the background, and when you looked at the photo,
yes,
you know what I'm talking?
Yes,
please,
okay, Mrs. Beasley. Mrs. Beasley was I met a girl in a shopping center. She was behind the counter. We got talking, we hit it off, and we started talking things spiritual. And she said she had a spiritualist lady that she went to, and would I like to visit her? I said, sure, very curious. Just an old lady, old grandma lady living in a normal house. And she took me inside, and she didn't even want any money. If you want to give her something, you do. If you don't, you don't. And she just talks and thinks things and writes on a bit of paper as she's talking. And she gave me this bit of paper, and she said, it's up to you to make sense of it. And everything came true. You're going to be going to England. I went, yeah, right. I'm going to be, yeah, sure. I did go to England. Your first car is going to be a blue sports car. It was. She said, I see success with the number 5 and roses. I'm not quite sure what that was yet, but it's going to be something coming. Anyway, everything she said came true. And I had that booklet for years and years, and then I lost it, but I had that booklet. And the other thing was I had my birthday, my 60th birthday in Detroit. And I had a big coach, and everybody came to the hotel, took over the top floor of the discotheque, and we went to my family home. One of my family homes was the one I was born and raised in. And we all went around the back because we tried to knock on the door and get inside, but the owners now were doctors and they weren't there. So we all went around back and took some pictures. And we took a picture where this little screened in area was that my dad did for the summertime so we could sleep outside. And I mean, nobody was in the house. And when the pictures got developed, my mother's face was in silhouette on the window. And I thought I was seeing things, honest to God. I even showed it to my nephew. I said, what do you see in this picture? He said, oh, it's Grandma. So it was her. Unbelievable. All of her sisters were standing there, and her silhouette was there. She had been gone for years and years. She died in 1992. This was when I was turning 60. So nobody can figure that out. But even one of my sisters said she tried to see how it could have looked like it was that, but you couldn't mistake it. She had on a certain pair of earrings that she liked. You could see the high cheekbone. It was her. It was her. Don't ask me how.
Wow, incredible. Was it a warm feeling when you realized you saw her?
Oh, yeah. She's with me a lot, my mom. I talk about her all the time, yeah. I'm very much my mother's daughter.
How wonderful. How absolutely wonderful. Now we are going to go into the second track that we promised people, which is going to be The Devil in Me, because we have just been talking spooky stuff. But very quickly, before I get him to cue that in, I do have another question I always ask my guests. And it is, do you like Jaffa cakes? Have you tried Jaffa cakes? And if not, do you have another biscuit that you like?
I love Jaffa cakes. They used to be one of my favorites.
You do?
Yeah, I love them. I discovered them about the first month I was here. Delicious. Delicious.
Excellent.
Delicious. I like Oreos. I like chocolate chip. I'm actually quite excellent at picking out good cookies.
Yeah. Do you think the Brits make better cookies or the Americans make better cookies?
You have your good ones here, and we have our good ones. You know.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Oreos came over here because I absolutely adore
Oreos
those.
are great.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh, yummy.
Yeah. And the white fudge coated ones, they are to die for. So we're going to cue in The Devil in Me. I'm hoping you can hang with us for a little bit longer because we've got questions that we got sent in. We'd love to ask you after we play the track, if that's okay. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So Ash, if you are ready, could you cue The Devil in Me for us and take us off? That would be fabulous.
No hero, marks on my soul. I made mistakes, I've been down that black hole. Oh, mama always told me, if you go astray, listen to your heartbeat, it will pave the way.
Wow. Fabulous stuff. Absolutely fabulous. I'm going to have that in my head for the rest of the day. That is an amazing song.
It's a really,
Wow.
really, really, really good song. So it came from my
do you
mother.
think-
My mother said it. That's what it was inspired by. Well, the angels.
Was
She
it
used to
really?
say, "You're an angel until your halo slips and it becomes a noose." Anyway, you wanted some questions? You had some
Yeah.
questions? Okay.
Yes, I asked people because there are. Do you even aware of how many fan groups there are on Facebook for you? I went into some of the groups to promote this show. You have so many fan groups on Facebook. It's incredible.
I
So
like
I
it.
posted in them and
Welcome
said,
aboard,
"Do you have any
everybody.
questions?"
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm glad.
thank you to all of those.
I'm
those
glad. I'm
groups.
happy for every passenger on the Quatro train.
You are very much loved, let me tell you.
Oh, that's
So
nice
are
to
we
know.
ready? Here is one of them from the group. So
Why
guess
don't you
Red,
read it?
why did
What-
you never release a DVD of your promotional films for the singles you had out in the 70s and the 80s?
Right. Okay. That is a question of ownership. A lot of acts from that began in the 70s having success. Little clips were made to send out when you couldn't get to these countries to do TVs. Somebody may do that eventually. I do have 3 that I own, but the early ones I don't. I think EMI owned them. It's just a question of somebody putting it together, but the artist can't do it because you don't own it. It belongs to the company, and it was Rack, and EMI bought that, and somebody else bought EMI, so it gets all confused. But maybe I will. I would like to release something. But there's a lot of stuff available on YouTube. No Control and The
Yes.
Devil in Me, you've got 5 videos available, I think, altogether. So,
Yeah, and I've got
recent.
4 of
Yeah.
them, including Susie's Christmas song. If you click
Yeah.
on the show description, the links to the YouTube for all of those tracks are on there for you to watch after the show. So let's move on. Daniel Sinclair, when will you
Okay.
be touring the UK? Yeah, please come to Northampton. I was there in 1989 at the Derngate, and I'm just down the road from there, so that would be handy for me. Are you coming over?
Well, I did
to-
I did 2 Legends tour that I was headlining, and we went all over the UK. I think it was 2017 and 2019. I can't remember which years they were, but that was recent. And of course then COVID happened. And the next big gig for me here, put it in your diary, is the Royal Albert Hall, April 20th next year. That's going to be a big one. And the Queen of Rock and Roll, I've been practicing this. The Queen of Rock and Roll is going to be playing the Royal Albert Hall, and she's going to turn this into this.
Your Majesty. What an amazing night that will be. What was that? It's April. Is it April 22nd?
April the 20th, 2022.
20th. Excellent.
Will I be
Tickets
doing any more
available
with
now?
Mike Chapman? And Mike and Nikki don't work together anymore. Mike, I've always worked together. The last album was In the Spotlight, which was 2011, I think. He has just lost his wife, so I don't think he's really involved in working in music right now, but I never say no to that. We're good friends, and the only difference now is that I'm writing all my own stuff, so with my son, but Mike has always produced me really good and written me some great songs, it has to be said. So it's
Yeah.
not a no, it's possible. Anything's possible. Love the man.
Yeah. These days you never know what's coming next, so who can say? One Spa Devagate Drive.
Okay,
Carolyn
that
Body.
is, when you're growing up and you're a teenager and your parents will say to you, don't you go there, that's where you go. So Devilgate Drive is that place you're not supposed to go to.
Okay. Oh, moving on swiftly. Camribe, can you tell us about your experience on Happy Days? Yes, Leather Tuscadero, do tell. How was the
Well,
fun?
fantastic. It was my first ever acting job, so I've stayed friends with Henry and Ron Howard. We email all the
Oh,
time.
you have?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
I asked Ron this, and he agreed with me. I said, "Did it ever feel like I was a newcomer to the show, a new actress?" He said, "No. We've talked about it on the cast. It's just like there you were. I just fit in. I was part of the show immediately. Great experience, great family, great people, good scripts. I loved the character. Yeah, great experience. I had three seasons. Started me off on my
Was it
acting
only
career.
3 seasons? Wow.
Yeah.
It seemed like you were there for so long. Oh, I love
It
that
made her.
character.
It
And it's
made a mark.
amazing that you stayed
Yeah, it made a
friends.
real mark. It made a real mark, and I found out from the lady that worked at Paramount when I went back to say hello after I finished in the show, and she said, "A little secret nobody told you. You got the second most fan mail after Fonz." I went, wow. So I must have been a very
Woo.
loved character. Yeah, wow is right. Jeez.
We are not worthy.
Okay, I
Okay,
see
who's this?
this
She asked
one.
me this. Oh, Ab Fab. What an episode that was. What were they like to work with,
Great.
Joanna?
I
And
They gave me this little script and this idea of the scene, and I said to Jennifer, "Can I have fun with this?" She said, "You do whatever you want." So basically, I wrote my own script. I love that sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Rock and roll, it's great. That was fun. I liked all the things I've done. I played a murder. I was in love with Dempsey Makepeace, and I thought he was in love with me. So I played a crazy woman in that. Minder, enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Midsummer Murders, they killed me in that one. They killed me in two things. Maybe they're trying to tell me something. I like acting very much. Yeah, I love everything creative.
were you Terry's girlfriend in Minder, I think, weren't you?
Yeah, and he's a good kisser.
Yeah, I thought. Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Okay,
Yeah, because he had to
so,
kiss me in
would
the
you
scene. Lost Gems.
would you
Oh, you know what?
consider-
This is a good question, Toby, because
Okay, thank you, Toby.
my son is always after me to do some of these lost gems. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to remind my son of that because he wants me to do that. Definitely. So yes, there's a lot of lost gems. A lot of lost gems.
So we could be seeing some of those in the
And
near
Cream
future.
Dream is one of them. That's a good
Oh,
idea.
really?
That could be my next
There you
album,
go,
The Lost
Toby.
Gems. Thank you, Toby. Yo.
You're getting a credit on the next album, Toby.
Absolutely.
Oh, and
Yeah.
there's husband from the other room. As you work so closely with Nicky Chin and Mike Chapman, did you have any interaction with the suite? I think you did, didn't you?
Oh God, yeah. In fact, Andy Scott is a very good friend of mine, and in 2017, we released an album that we did together. It was called Quatro, Scott, and Powell. Don Powell being the drummer from Slade, and it charted. We got to number 16 in Australia, and Quatro, Scott, and Powell supported Suzi Quatro, as only a Gemini can do. I went out there as the bass player singer of Quatro, Scott, and Powell, changed into my jumpsuit, and came out and did my show. It's nuts.
Oh my God, that takes some energy. So that
I
brings
sang-
me to one of my. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It just brings me to something I was going to ask you. Actually, do you have a particular dietary guideline that you live by and an exercise routine? Because you have such an amazing amount of energy. I know part of that is being a Gemini, but what do you eat and how do you exercise on a daily basis to keep that going?
I would say I'm 95% vegetarian, but 95% because if I feel like a steak, I will have a steak. And I'll have the steak with all the trimmings, with the fat and everything. If I'm going to have a steak, I'm going to do it right. Going to have a whole thing, you know. What else? I do my daily exercise. I do yoga. I stick to red wine and champagne. Not a bad thing to stick to. I don't really have a sweet tooth, which is lucky. And I mean, my husband gets really angry with me because I can go into a box of cookies and eat one. And he always says,
Yes.
How do you do that? I said, easy. You take it out and you eat it and you walk away. So I have really, really good willpower. Yes. So I try to stay the same. I try to stay the same weight, the same shape. And my motto is, I'm not chasing 21. I'm not 21. I'm 71. But try to look the best 71 that you can be. That's all. Without
Yes.
getting crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just a number. At the end of the day, it's just a number. We have exactly that same conversation about biscuits in our house as well. I do the same. I can take one and put it away, but somebody in the other room will just scoff the whole pack. Yeah. I know.
Right. I brought home one time. We had arrived from a tour, and we were in England, Viner and I, And as we were going to get the car home, I noticed, and it was late at night, we had nothing in the house. Not late at night, but too late to do groceries. So I saw Krispy Kremes. So I bought a box of 12. I thought, oh, at least we have something to nibble on. And he said, I brought them in the house. He said, why did you buy those? I'm not going to eat one of those. I said, not a problem. I went upstairs and had my bath, and I came down, and there were 4 left out of 12. So those are the ones you weren't going to eat, right? He couldn't believe it. He said I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat one of them.
Do you know, this household and your household sound very, very similar, I have to say. And two more very quick questions. So
Okay.
I know you have to get off the studio. One of them was, do you have a talent that we don't know about in terms of, I mean, is there anything like DIY, gardening? Do you paint? What other thing do you do?
Oh God, well, everything artistic I do.
Okay.
You know, I do paint and I do draw. And in fact, at my merch site, there is available my own Christmas cards. I've done those for years. Since I had kids, I made my own Christmas cards and had them printed up.
I saw that.
So it's kind of like a family history, yeah. So yes, I do that. God, I'm a game player. I'm a really, really good Scrabble, Word Blitz, Boggle, anything like that. I can look at the word wheel in a newspaper with the one center word and then the pie shaped different letters, and they make one big word. You have to make as many words as you can, and they make one big word. And I can look at it, and within 5 seconds maximum, I have the word. So I don't know what that talent is. I don't know what you call that. And I'm always asking everybody, what is the scientific word for that? Is it you can make sense out of the chaos? I don't know. But I can do it. I look and I see the word. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. But again, it could be a Gemini thing because it's words. I'm the same. I can do Scrabble and things like that, but put one of those Sudoku things with numbers and it blows my mind. And I actually changed it. I said to somebody, I can't do it. But if you change the numbers in Sudoku for letters, and as soon as I did that, I cracked it.
Yeah, but I learned I couldn't do Sudoku either until I finally took it to America on a trip with a pencil and an eraser, and I worked it out. And now I look down at it like a bird's eye view and I go boom, doop, 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 and it's done. Done. I'm really quick.
Okay.
So anybody can learn Sudoku because I was the same as you. I was Sudoku Sudoku deficient.
Yeah. I'll describe myself as Sudoku deficient. And one very last question, because I know you have to run. Prince Charles made you blush once. Can you share that story?
I did a big TV show for him, for his a children's charity show for ITV. And in it, of course, you go out of character. So I was dressed up in one of these little sort of basques, you know, with fishnet tights and heels and singing a song to a parrot because it was one of those, it was a sketch. And you made me love you. I didn't want to do it. That's what I was singing. And at the end of the show, they filmed Prince Charles going along, everybody who had been in the show, shaking their hand and meeting them. So I'm dressed up in my outfit, you know, and I'm thinking, what am I going to say to him? Da, 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 da. And he comes to me and they're filming him, meeting each person. And he said, hello. I said, hello. And he said, was it a difficult thing to do? And I said, well, it was a tap dance part of it. And it was quite a lot of rehearsal. And he said, oh, it was very enjoyable. And then he walked down. He went about 3 people down. And then he turned back to me. And he said in a very loud stage whisper, and you have the best legs since Tina Turner. And I just went, and instead of saying thank you, and it's on film, I went like this. Because I wasn't prepared for that to come out of his mouth. I couldn't be a smartass. I look like a little 6-year-old. Why couldn't I just say thank you? I did. Honestly, I was going my leg, like I was like 6 years old, you know, stupid.
Well, it's not the sort of thing, to be honest, you would expect to come out of Prince Charles's mouth, let's be fair.
So I wasn't prepared with a comment, you know, not at all.
Oh, wonderful. Well, listen, I will let you go because I know you have a busy day and you're off to
I
the
do. I
studio.
gotta go. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all Suzi's socials are coming up along the bottom of the screen there. I want to thank Mike Armstrong for setting all this up for us today. I want to thank Suzi for being here, and everything is in the show description as well. So if you're not getting the details on the screen, go to the show description. All of Suzi's socials are there. All the links to the songs on YouTube are there. So thank you once again for being our Halloween guest, Suzi. It's been an absolute pleasure.
My
and a delight to
pleasure.
have
And
you.
anytime, I'm happy to do it all again. Anytime at all.
We would love to have you back. And very,
Okay.
very best of luck. Royal Albert Hall, April
Thank
20th,
you.
2022. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Suzi.
Okay.
Have a fabulous day.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I can't. How do we do this now?